Okay, now we're going to discuss about your lab assignment. So for your lab assignment, go to here, lab exercise. Now assignment, you can click directly here. So for lab assignment, there are three. All right, so first differentiate between rectangle and round shape, 5 marks. And then lab assignment 2, part A, part B. This is to verify usefulness of features. So verify usefulness of Euler number. And then also verify the usefulness of variance in measuring contrast. Okay, so for this first questions and the second questions here, Euler number. So you don't have to start the coding from scratch. I already prepared a template sample example, so you can modify from there. So where is that sample? So the sample is available from, sorry, past year questions, sorry, lab exercise. So you go to your application example, candy production. Okay, so paste this MATLAB. Action. All right. Go to additional notes, candy production. Yeah. So candy production here basically is the where you need to install a robotic arm so that the robot could know where the candies are and know what type of candies there are. Okay, so in this case, you have two types of candies: the big candies and the small candies. Hello, someone off their mute their. All right. Okay. So candy production, run it. Okay, so this is the something. Too many feet. Okay, kejap. Clear all and close all figure and run. Okay, so this is the image. So now what we need to do here is we want to first segment the candies from the background. So if you look at the codes, so here this is the part where we read and then we display, and then I put a pause here so that I will, when I press enter, I will proceed to the next line where we do segmentation. So I implemented these codes of segmentation. So basically, this is the parameters for you to show the difference. So anything which is the difference on. Okay, so please pay attention how to use this. When you enter, you see the cursor now become a cross. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
So this is part of the segmentation where I make it semi. auto, so you have to crop the background. Okay, so please pay attention. So you want to tell the segmentation techniques what is the background color, so that it will segment out the candies, differentiate background from this. So I'll try to copy. After copy, you put your cursor in the middle and then you double click. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
No.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Okay, so now you see the white color are the pixels that has been detected as the non-background. So the black color is the background. Okay, so all these are done actually in this function color segmentation. Basically, if you double click color segmentation is you don't have to do much with this. I just try to explain. You just use as it is. Alamak. Okay, so this one is after we do the morphological operation. Do you see now all the corner has been rounded? Okay, so you know in morphological operation is important so that we can remove the small objects and then we can make the object look smoother and look simpler. In this case, actually, of course, you don't see much use of it. But later in the next example, you'll see in your assignment, you'll see small objects. So you see morphological comes in hand useful for you to clear small objects. So we have created the structuring element, and then we perform remove small objects using IM open. And then now we are here after showing the output pause. So the next thing is we need to do object labeling so that we can separate out each object. So then this function will label different object, okay, which is not connected with different label. Those which belongs to the object, those pixels which are connected will be given the same label. So this is what labeling algorithm all about. And then the next thing is you're going to use region props. So region props will help you to extract the features that you want. So in this case, because the features is size, so we use area. And of course, also I will extract the image of each object for display purposes. Okay, so that's the use of region props. Then from there, I'll try to set up the for loop. Because you have more than one object, so definitely you need a for loop. So to use a for loop, you need to know total how many objects you have. So that's why I call find this and the call function number of element. And this binary object features will contain the list of features for each of the object. So when I measure, find out how many elements in these variables, then I know how many objects are there. And then from there, I extract, okay? So this binary object features, so it's a structure. So I want to extract particularly the area feature, so dot area, okay? And then I try to calculate the average of all the objects area. So then very simple. So those objects which greater than average area will be a gig candy, otherwise classified as small candies. Okay. So so this is a small candy. So I press enter, enter, big candy, small candy, small candy, big one, big, big, small, big, and so on. Everyone, are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I highly recommend because I've observed students that tends to get confused when they use pause. So I recommend you to remove this pause command because you don't want to use it. You, instead of using pause, which may create some confusion later, it's always good for you to pause it, command it. And instead of going like this, why not you just use save, use a breakpoint so that you can go step by step like this. This is the image. So go color segmentation. Okay, then you can, if you want to go look into detail color, then you can step in. So this is what happens. So this is where the cursor turn into cross, because you I call this function im crop so that I can crop the background color. Okay, so crop the background, put the cursor middle, and then now I got a background color. Okay, and then I try to close the figure, and then I try to, so see, when we do color comparisons, we don't use RGB. Okay, we use YCBCR and so on. So I convert the RGB to YCBCR. Okay, and then I calculate the average of the color component, number 2 and number 3, the CD and CR. And then I convert the entire image into YCBCR, and then I try to calculate the difference from the background. Okay, the first component of the color, second component of the color, and then I calculate Euclidean distance. That's why I square, square root. This is Euclidean distance. And then I compare what is the, see, the maximum difference is 255. And then because there are 2 dimensions, so square root 2. Okay, and then calculate what is the threshold. So what is the, so I put like 0.05 of the maximum difference. So the output is actually anything where the difference is greater than the threshold. So because we are looking for the non-background, so anything where the difference is higher than the threshold, that means it is not background. So this is basically the segmentation. So we are doing color segmentation. Okay. So this is how the output looks like. Anything where the difference is greater than background for 0.05 of the maximum difference, then it's classified as object. Okay, here, this one, later you have to read this. So you will have to play around with the parameters of the shape and also the size. Okay, because it's important. You need to retain the original shape of the object. Okay, and if you use too big of the size, if too small, you cannot remove. If too big, then you may remove the main object or you distort the shape. So you need to use the correct size. And then this one, you perform the morphological operation. So you can see now, see the edge tends to be sharp. Because I use these shapes, a disc, so it's a round shape, this shape. So what happened? You can see all this edge, sharp edge has been rounded. Okay, then you do labeling, this one. Okay, and then here I try to extract the features. So you can try to go to help to learn more. What other features available? Okay. So you can see that properties. Type of measure, areas are one of them. So you can have the bounding box, centroid. You can have Euler number, and so on. Okay. perimeter, those that we discussed in the lectures are all available. Okay, so what I want to show you is, so after this region props, so you look at so this binary features. Do you see there are 14 structures here? So one structure refers to one object. So this is area and image for object number 1. Okay. See how many objects are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So you have 14 objects. So this is the area and the image for each object. So I want to know how many objects. So you call this num element. So it will return to me 14. Okay. Right. Then I use a loop. So every time I try to extract out do this because so that I can calculate the average. So if you don't want to keep looping, stepping, you can always go to run to cursor. So you can put your cursor here and run to cursor. So it will loop through this quickly and then come to here. So now I want to know what my average is. So average is 5.6, 5.6 something here, times 1,000, so 5,000 something. That's the average. So if you look at the area, so 2,000 is considered small, 8,000 is considered large. So 5,000 is the in between, right? So anything that is greater, then it should be the big candies. Okay, so this is for display, to display the object. And then this is where we try to visualize the results by putting as a text title, big or small. Okay, so because it's smaller than average. Okay, so the first one, my I is 1, so the first one is 2877. So less than 5,000, so it's a small candy. So we'll display small candy. Okay. And then we'll go for the second one, and so on. Any question?
No, sir.
Okay, so now this is what you need to do. You need to use the code. You need to modify the code. Okay. I already come up with the steps, which I will share later, so that you can do it systematically. This is what actually I want you to learn, so that you can do the things steps for assignment. So I'll put it in your notes. Okay, in order to do modification and so on, so this is what you should do. First, you need to copy the candy folder into your MATLAB working directory, and then open and save as, so that you can change the name, and then you need to, copy the JPEG file also, and then comment the irrelevant codes, the pause. Okay, and then you can do block comment. Okay, after that you will keep the codes. Okay, to only, so this is where you test step by step, and then you visualize the results. So this is for the first step, to read, and then you do the same for segmentation, for morphological and extract features. Okay, so I'm going to show you step by steps. So what you should do. So please pay careful attention. and close all this stuff. So all this make it original. Stop debugging. All right. Okay. Okay, now, so the first thing you need to do is you need to copy the candy production. Go to lab exercise. Under application example, so this whole candy production copy and put it in your, that is your working directory, document, MATLAB. I think because my MATLAB is too messy, I create another separate folder here. So paste here. So I have the whole candy production copied here. Okay, and then after that, you rename it. Is that the steps? So copy and then open this candy production and save as assignment1.m. So you go to MATLAB. Okay, now you go to your working directory, MATLAB, under candy production. So this one, open it up and then save as. Yes, so assignment 1. Okay, so that you have a copy of the original code. And now you are ready to modify. So to modify, oh, don't forget you have to copy the image as well. So now we are not using this candy image anymore. Okay, candy production image, but we are using the lab exercise under assignment. So this is the file, assignment file. This is the image file. Control C and Control V. Okay. So now I have my project 2 features is here. Okay. All right. So you need to do the copy, and then comments the irrelevant codes or the pause. You do want the pause. So one at here, another one here, because this one tends to be very confusing. So remove them. Okay, save. And then now we need to, keep only the codes for reading and display. Modify the codes. Okay, copy and paste file name. So we will use, so only these 2 lines will be relevant. So we will use the block command all the way until here. Okay, so now we will focus on reading image first. Okay, so we have to change the name. So no more candy production. So don't type, but try to copy paste. Control C. E. No, we want this one. Project 2. Sorry. Okay, and now save and run. This is what I mean by when you develop program, so you don't do everything and type all the codes in and run. So you go line after line or segment by segment. So we go for the first segment, which is reading the input image. So when I check your video, okay, you're going to show me all these steps. So this is how I give you marks. You don't just give me the output, which I have no clue whether you do it yourself or you just get it from your friend or you really understand what you're doing. Okay, so now this shows that I have read the image successfully. And how do I verify that? So I verify by visualizing the result. I display it. So I saw, okay, now I got the image that I want. Are you following? So that is the software development lifecycle where you have to type the code and you have to do verification. Verification is the utmost important thing in code or program development. Okay, so what's next? Okay, so you have to go next code is segmentation. So you keep only the codes until segmentation. So now we are ready to open this up. So until segmentation, where are the codes until segmentation? Which line?
15.
Anyone?
15, sir.
13.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, sir.
13, sir, 13.
Until 13, segmentation. Okay, yes, you're right. 13 is the one that we do segmentation, but always remember after that we need to
Sir, we can't hear you, sir.
Hello, sir.
hello.
Hello, sir.
Okay, sorry, just now my line was dropped. So let's come back to our codes. Okay, and now here, so we need to do segmentation. So for segmentation, you need to crop the background. So again, we draw the crop the background, go to middle, double click. Okay, so you will have this codes, this output where if you observe, okay, you will have small objects. Because in JPEG, when after compression, then it tends to have that kind of quantization noise. And those are the source where you, after segmentation, you tend to have small object like this. Do you see that? So this is where you need to do morphological operation. And you also observe that the shapes is not so clean or so simple. So you have all these small objects nearby. So that's where you need to do the cleaning by using morphological operation. Okay, so now next. Okay, morphological operation. So keep only the codes until morphological operation. Modify the shapes or size of structure and visualize results for verification purposes. So where should we? Okay, so we remove this. So where should we start to code? Is this related to morphological operation? Yes. So perform opening the system morphological operation and display the output. So this is where we stop. Okay, so now we will have read image, and then we will segment, and then we'll do the morphological operation. Okay, let's run again. Okay, crop the background. So this is after morphological operation. Do you observe anything wrong? Okay, first good news is we have removed the small objects, but do you see anything wrong with this output? See, my rectangle now is become close to round shape because of the morphological operation. So what should we do? This one I leave it to you to answer by yourself. Okay. If you do not answer it correctly, then eventually the rectangle will be treated as a round object, which is not right actually. Okay. So then next, you will have to extract features. So use keep until region props modify to extract the codes that you want. Okay, so until region props. So how to differentiate between round shape and rectangle? Again, this one I leave it to you to answer. Definitely not using area. Area will tell you differentiate between different size, but in this case, your round shape and rectangle, both you have a big one and a small one. So area definitely is not going to work. But okay, I'll leave it for you to answer this. So you definitely need to modify this line. And then after extract features, then you need to compute features. So keep until the loop. Okay, so verify your compare manual exercise. Okay, so you need to do the computation of features. So keep until here. So you need to do the calculation of your features. And more importantly, you need to do manual calculation or use Excel to calculate. Okay, so you compare what you have here and with what you calculate in your manual calculation. Okay, and then finally keep all the codes, modify the condition. So like after once you are done with that, then you have to modify. Okay, this is a round or this is a rectangle. I don't know, but you have to make sure you use it. Otherwise, then the results will not be correct lah. Okay. So do you have any questions? Oh, this one's too quick, so maybe I use the pause here. Okay, round candy, correct. Rectangle candy, this is not correct. Round candy, so no. So you're definitely not using the right features lah. Right. Okay. So any questions? So I've shown you how you should do the modification, and I've give you guides on how you should go about developing. That is, you go segment by segment, and then every time make sure that you do verifications, either by means of visualizing or by means of, especially when you compute your features, you need to check the variables value, and you need to compare with what you calculate. right? So I give you hints, all right? What features to use here? What actually is related to round shape and rectangle? I think in your test you have done that, right? And most of you actually use what? The one start with T. What is that? What is the features? Hello?
Thinness ratio.
Yes, you're right. Use thinness ratio. So actually the rectangle, I purposely put a long rectangle like this so that it looks thin. And then this is round shape. So the thinness ratio should be higher. And this one, the thinness ratio should be lower. Okay, so that actually gives you enough hints. So you need to modify your codes. So how to calculate thinness ratio, you should know. And all these you can extract using the region props. So area is one, perimeter is one, so you can all modify accordingly so that you get your area and your perimeters, and then you need to do the calculation. You know the formula, right? 4 pi a what p square. So you need to implement it here, and then after do the calculation, make sure that you compare with what you calculate manually. That means you can use calculator to calculate, oh, okay, for this object, this is the area, this is the perimeter. So what should be the thinness ratio? So is it correct? Is this the same as what you compute in MATLAB? So that is what I meant by here. Check variable, compare manual and Excel calculation. Yes. So once that is right, then only you proceed to next step. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is what you need to do. And so you have to do it once, and then you have to do it second time where you start from scratch, but this round you need to record it using Zoom or whatever. And then show me, okay, how you do all these things so that I can see you live doing all these steps. Okay, not just giving me one whole batch of codes, but showing me a video that you start to, doing all these steps. Then I'll be very sure that, okay, you know how to do all this, then you have really learned what you should. Question so far? So that will give you 5 marks. And whatever that you learn here will be useful when you do Euler number. It's exactly the same, except now instead of using thinness ratio, you use Euler number. So basically what you learned today worth 10 marks, 5 marks for the first one and 5 marks for the second one. And that should be enough to keep you busy until the end of this week. So I expect submission by next Monday. Boleh?
No, sir.
Okay, so you have any questions?
Monday.
Sir, you mean we must submit everything by Monday, is it, sir? In the lab assignment, I mean.
That is my expectation, that you finish your lab test 6 by this Friday. Okay. And you spend your weekend doing this. Okay, it's just modifying a few lines of codes. Of course, you take time to slowly familiarize yourself with that. But I believe you could do that by, you can now replay my video and see how I did the thing just now. Okay, and I have these steps for assignment as well that I'm going to share, that I already share with you in the additional notes. Okay, I'll put it later in this Microsoft Team as well. So you can refer to the video, refer to the steps, and you should be able to do that. I mean, that's my expectation. Just that you need to spend time for it.
Okay.
And yeah, I have no choice because we are in a rush. Okay, we are in a rush, so we have to finish the thing. But I believe you could do, so long as just sit down and focus. Yes.
We are quite worried because we have our FIP with us also. So just quite worried if we could not submit it by Monday, if it took longer time.
That's why I give you a target. You just try your best. Kalau cannot submit, then be it lah. Then I have to extend. No choice. But you know that we have a definite deadline that after your by I think mid of June I have to submit grades. So we are like 1.5 months from, let me stop this. This discussions is beyond the record.
Okay, sir.